Welcome to Opinion Havers, a movie podcast for the magical Mr. Wisnuffle Butts. I'm Tyler.
I'm Cody.
And I'm Scoober. That's my cat name, Cody.
Oh, what's your cat name?
What's your cat name? It's your secret name. Here's the thing. If we're humans, can we truly know our cat name?
Probably like Ripple Nips, right?
Something that's like that. A good one. That's better than Scoober. I'm definitely one of the trash cats, right? Like I'm on
one of the nameless cats that no one really sings about.
No,
you know?
I think here's what I want. I want to be on the barge. I'm gonna take over the barge now. All right. Look at me. I'm the captain of the barge now.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tyler, did I see this movie when it came out in theaters? Planning to review it with you? Yes, I did. Did you not see it in theaters? Yes,
no,
you did not.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Did I watch it again this last week so that we could record it again? Yes. Did you try to get out of recording it? I think you did. And here we are. You chose this movie. I've seen it twice now. It's a movie no one should have to watch. And, you want me to give you the plot summary? Yeah, I'll give it to you in one word. Cats. That's the plot summary, all right? There are cats, period. That is, I'll tell you right now, that's the source material. And that is, they honored the source material by keeping it cats, all right? That is the plot. All you need to know.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that it is cats. Yeah.
Oh, you want to hear my hot take on the movie? Yes, I will. Hot trash. It was hot trash, and let me tell you, they gave this director Les Mis in 2013, and people were like, oh my goodness, did you see they made a Les Mis movie? And it was amazing. I'll tell you what, I saw that Les Mis movie, and it was all right. Not bad. Not great, not bad. But he did fine with it. So why don't we give him a worse musical? See if he can do a better job. It's like, no. You gave him a worse musical, he did a worse job. What were we expecting?
Like, Les Mis is just Les Mis, right? It's just Les Mis. It's okay, hold on. No. Les Mis, much like we watched Into the Woods once, if you remember, as a team. Which, let's talk about that. Let's just detour. They're both musicals, right? And Les Mis, I'm going to bring in here too.
Okay.
It's the musical. So if you don't like the movie, you probably wouldn't like to go see the musical. Except I do think there is like a different vibe to going to a theater where there's a stage and they're rolling the sets in and out, right?
Right.
The lower production value kind of makes it more palatable sometimes, and
there's more suspension of disbelief versus on the silver screen where it's like, hey, look, we had to make it,
And I think for me personally, because I've gone to see musicals, I've seen Wicked in New York on Broadway, right?
Yeah.
And I loved it. It was amazing. It was magical. Did I think the intermission was, it's over, and I thought it sucked? 100%, all right?
Sure.
But
we all did,
there was a giant robot dragon, and I thought that was pretty cool. But in my mind, I think of it more like a concert if I go to see it on a stage versus the movie. I think of it as a movie, and I'm like, this sucks as a movie. But I might have thought like, this is pretty good. Because here's a hot take for you. I thought the music was all right. The visuals, I have so many concerns about. All right, not gripes, not questions, not complaints. I have concerns. Okay, I have notes. Before we release this movie, I think I have some notes for the editors, because I'm guessing we got like an early screener of this, right? They didn't release this, right? This is like a work in progress.
This is the early graphics cut where we're just, run into the visuals given our early notes.
Yeah, they've still got some touch ups to do. Probably another 8 months.
They've got probably
so,
6 to 8 months before they release. This
I
guy,
think.
So we're
I think
good.
if we wanted a masterpiece, we'd go for 12.
Good.
But I understand budgets. We can try to scrunch that down.
There's a release window. You really want to get this out around the holidays when people are thinking about cats.
Yeah.
You think Christmas, you think cats, and that's when you got to drop it.
Also, just as a very important side note to this movie, the Kansas state income tax is 5.7% if you make over $60,000. Cody, you asked that earlier.
Wow.
So it's $2,500.
Where's that money going? I've seen Kansas State. Where's that money going?
I don't know.
You got 2.5 cities and about a dozen towns at best.
You said 2.5 cities. That's generous for Kansas. Are you okay? Hold on. No. Which one's the other city?
Well, look, you got Overland Park.
Oh,
you got Wichita.
Okay.
And you got Lawrence.
Oh,
is the half city. So that's 2.5 by my math.
I thought you were going Kansas City, Topeka, Wichita. That's what I thought you were going.
Oh, I forgot about Topeka. Yeah, Topeka.
Okay, but here's the thing: you can.
Topeka needs all the help it can get. I take it back. They can have.
You can forget about Topeka because they will pay you to move there. So they're not doing the best. If you move there and stay there for 5 years, they'll just give you $5,000. So if you're really hurting for $5,000 5 years from now, Topeka, Kansas is their solution. Are there catches? Not really. Not really. You just got to live in Topeka. That's the catch.
Have I been to Topeka? Yes. Does it remind me eerily a lot of Victorville? Also, yes.
Oh, that changes my view of Victorville. I always envision Victorville, your alma mater, as a very ghetto, kind of sketchy Vegas. If you're kind of in the edge of Vegas or Phoenix, like that, but a lot more spread out,
Yeah.
Where it's it's not super sketchy, it's just sparse, I guess.
We'll go sometime. I'll show you.
Did I tell you I got a job offer from a place in Victorville recently?
Where?
Where in Victorville? Not only I bid on a project there, and I got a job offer. The project that I bid on was for Dr. Pepper.
I didn't know Dr. Pepper had a presence in Victorville.
I guess it's Keurig Dr. Pepper. So I don't know if it's Keurig or Dr. Pepper.
All right.
Is there a Keurig plant? Tell me about Victorville, California. Is there a Keurig?
There's a prison. There's an abandoned Air Force base. That's all I know.
Wonders.
I don't.
Now hold on.
Any sort of
There's also a diner featured in
Kill Bill. Volume 2. Yes.
So Cats, Cody.
Emma Jeans, the Brian Burger. Best burger in the world.
Were they in Cats? Because they should have been. Right? What was Cats based in Victorville? That's my question.
No. Great question. I believe it's I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this right. I believe it's London, and that is in England. Did I get that right? London. Is that right? Is that the name of that town over there?
I thought it was Londinium, but I don't know. The only thing I know it from history class, studying Roman Empire and stuff.
That might be the Roman name for it. I don't know if they still use that. Maybe in a formal setting.
Let's talk about this.
Can we do it?
No.
Can we get into it?
Yes. Before I go off on a whole thing about the Roman Empire and Britannia.
Yes.
Cody, they make it so much about them. They're like, Britannia was the most important part of the Roman Empire. And then you see any historian that's not British, and they're like, yeah, no Roman cared at all. They were just like, that's the only place left to conquer, so I guess that's where we're going. And so that's why they're there. But you go to Britain, and they're like, this was every emperor's headquarters. It's like, no, it wasn't. One emperor came here once,
Came here, went, ugh, and then turned around and went back to Rome.
Exactly.
Gross.
None of them ever, none of them liked it here. Caesar got here, killed a bunch of people, and it's like, well, job done, and left immediately. So, yeah,
history's great.
Yeah, it is great.
So wild.
I watched like 2 separate 1.5 hour documentaries while doing work, so I guess I listened to them about the Roman Empire in Britain, and they were like so important. Anyway, Cats. It's called the Thames, Cody. Do you want? Are we just doing it, or you want me to? Here's what I'm going to do. Okay, Cody, look at me.
Yes.
I need you to clench your sphincter. All right, because you want to hold in that air. Okay, hold in that good air, because if you let it go, you might explode. Okay, I'm going to give you a swipe, and then we're good. Ready?
Oh,
and now we're here. I've swiped you into. I've McCavitied you straight into Spoiler Town.
So mad. Okay, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Cody, I'll go first. You know what? Because I know it's been 2 to 15 years since you've seen this movie, and I actually took notes for the first time in a long time. Okay, Did I like stop taking notes and just like, here's the thing. I watched this movie, Cody, before I get into the rant. I was supposed to be working while watching this. Did it distract me? 100%. And then I just stared at it, much like there's a guy on TikTok.
I mean, my 2-word review blurb on the poster would be highly distracting.
There's a guy on TikTok that's like day whatever of me sharing my For You page, and it's him sharing the most unhinged TikToks, and it's just him in the corner, like just slack-jawed staring at his screen.
No.
That was me for most of the movie. Okay. So they would let me know when you're ready with your timer on your end.
You're good. Right. You're good.
All right, here we go. Cody, okay, so let's break it down for you. Okay. Big faces. Let's talk about the big faces. Their faces were too big. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this cannot be the finished version. They needed to, like, it's so, like, they didn't. I don't know how they did it, but whatever method they used for their suits, it's like you went with CG. You could have just done suits and it would have looked just as good 90% of the time and looked a billion times better 100% of the time. Okay. Except their faces. And here's the thing. Not all their faces. Some of their faces too small. Some of their faces way too big. Some of their faces, for like a split second every so often, go off of their head. Okay. And that's the kind of high quality production value that you expect from Cats. You remember Cats, the joke musical that we all remember hearing about growing up? The one that everybody would be like, no one actually likes that. You go see it as a joke, and then your hipster douche friend that you actually wish would just die already is like, no, it's the masterpiece of our generation. And then you're like, all right, cool. We peed in your Gatorade while you were gone, while you were taking that phone call from your weird, like, aunt or something. You know what I'm saying? You hate that guy, but you hang out with him because he's got, like, the Nintendo or whatever. You know what I mean? But you will murder him, and it will be a Netflix drama series. You know what I'm saying? We all had that friend that we killed in high school, right? And you know, it was Sean. It was Sean, and we took him down. All right, you know, R.I.P. Sean. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the CG was bad. Anytime they were like just dancing around, and you could tell it's like, yeah, basically we just made it like a suit, but a little worse. It looked okay, but anytime they moved, it was bad. And I was like, it seems like you could have just done jumpsuits. I don't know, like the musical uses, and it would have been fine. That's my biggest sticking point. Also, didn't realize there were humans in the world of Cats. I thought they were cat people or like just cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people for 1 second throwing away the cats. So here's what I think. Is there only one old lady left in the world, and she's just throwing cats into the the jiggable cats. What are they called? I don't know. The jellicles. I feel like that's a slur, right? That's what it's gotta be a slur. I felt uncomfortable every time they said it because I was like, I don't know what this means. This definitely is like, oh yeah. No, it's a racial slur for Northwestern Portuguese people or something. That's what I'm thinking it is. Okay. Something like that. It's one of them very specific ones. Okay. That your friend who's been to that country is like, yeah, call everybody this. It means best friend in their language, you know? And it's like, it doesn't. It's going to get you shot by some gangster. Okay. Here's the thing. The weirdness of a musical does not translate into a movie. And when are they going to learn this one fact? Okay. It's like no musical has ever, if you just take the musical and put it in movie form, it's never been good and it will never be good. Okay. Let's take a musical there's two musicals. You're going to have to help me with one. I'm going to need nods but I'm going to use them both because I feel like they came out around the same time. People loved one at the time, and now I feel like they've turned on it, and people now are loving the other one. Okay, it's going to talk about La La Land and The Greatest Showman. Okay, both musicals have long stretches where there is no singing and dancing, and it's just plot development, and then there's a dance and a song, right? Or is La La Land song to song to song? Or is there like dialogue? Give me a nod. Is there long stretches of no singing? There's plot development. So it's a movie with singing in it. Okay. Now let me tell you, I'm going to take that out and I'm going to make them sing every single line of dialogue. No matter how weird it is, no matter how trivial the dialogue is, it's all part of a song. Better movie, right? No, it's not. It's a terrible movie. Stop doing it. All right? Cody, Mr. Whatever, he has a coat and a hat. Okay. Idris, he just has a coat. Okay. And you're like, oh, because he's a cat, he got a coat. But some of them don't have a coat. But then what's one of my later notes? Oh, dang, coat's gone. And we got sexy Idris Elba. Okay.
Tyler, I'm going to have to cut you off right there. And the problem is I don't have enough time, but I got to start mine. Look, my first note, so much synth. You know, this was an 80s musical. It was an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, whatever. My second note, same as yours. They bungled the scale of these cats so hard. Like, immediately they were like, pure CG, this is genius, right? We're going to spend so much money on this, and it's going to look so good. Nothing makes sense, right? Because they're living in a people's world, you know. They're living in a people's world, and they're out here doing stuff, but the cats are either too big or too small for whatever they're doing, and the heads are wrong. So it's just everything looks wrong. Like every time you're looking at them interacting with a prop or a window or a chair or anything, you're like, what size are you? You know, it makes me so mad. They had to think so hard about this, right? And they did such a bad job executing it. Tyler, let me tell you how bad this movie is. It's so bad that I saw it twice. I was so mad about it that I was like, screw it. I'm spending $4 to watch the original Cats stage musical movie where they just filmed the Broadway production. This is in 98, and this movie was the bane of my existence as a child, all right? As a child, I was scared of this because of, A, the cat people, which weren't that scary, but Macavity in the musical, as a 6-year-old, I was like, this is nightmare fuel. So it was either Chucky or Macavity, all right? Those were the two things that haunted my nightmares as a child, all right? Did I ever watch Chucky? No. Did I maybe catch 10 seconds of it once and also see the trailers and also the case in Blockbuster Video? Yes, and that was enough to terrify me as a child, all right? Rewatching it, Macavity's still kind of scary, all right? He's not that scary, but he is like, oh, okay. In this 2020 musical, this pandemic era musical, it's Idris Elba. and he says stuff like, Macavity, when he disappears himself, and it's so stupid. I hate it so much. But anyway, what are we doing? My next note, remember when they thought erasing the anuses would save this film? Like, this movie came out, And in like a day and a half, they were like, we're going to take out the cat anuses and then people will like it. It's like, no, honestly, I think it would have been better with the anuses, because there are several shots where it's like they intentionally made it an anus shot. They're like, let's have that cat stretch its leg up and move its tail so you can really get the money shot, like, and then there's just no anus. So it's like, wait, what are we even doing? Look, is it the worst part about being a cat owner, making eye contact with your cat's anus? Yes, but is it a staple? Absolutely. So it was a mistake to take it out 100%. My next note, Jay seems to enjoy it. He was there watching it with me. It entertained him for about 5 minutes. He was like, synthesizer and bright colors, what is happening here? Then he got over it really fast. So that tells you, how good a job they did. I don't know, man. I was so upset that I watched this movie a third time via the original Broadway production, and I so much to say about it, and I don't even know where to begin. I guess I could just keep going through notes. Here's my problem with this, and it's like you talked about. The music was fine, but the CG was real. The visuals were the real problem. And my next note is, did they think that CG enhanced this premise in the slightest? No, like, the premise is so thin and so basic. There are cats. And so to try to take that and add a very challenging element of making it all computer generated and not look uncanny or bad or weird, it takes you out of it completely and makes you, any like good faith you get from having the Andrew Lloyd Webber music is kind of taken away because it looks so bad. It's like, anytime the music doesn't sound perfect, it's like, wait, no, I hate this. Yeah, this is awful. It was so, I don't know. Here's my favorite thing, though. There's very little plot in this movie, but there's one element of plot, which is whoever wins gets to die. And that is perhaps my favorite thing about Cats, is it's like, let's sing about how great your life is. And if we think you're really cool, we'll kill you. It's like, this is awesome. Like, what a fun, like, Buddhist reincarnation kind of way to be like, I don't know. It's just a funny prize to be like, do you want to not be yourself? We'll kill you. Like, but it makes no sense, right? It's like, because it's a talent show, but you get to die.
Oh, Cody,
but if your talent is good enough, why do you want to have a different talent and be born as a different cat? That's what I don't understand.
No, you can't do it. Here's the thing, okay. Cody. We
made it through about 4 minutes of the movie with my notes. Tyler, hold on. Let me tell you. Okay, one of the opening songs is the Jellicle Cats, right? And they go through.
Right.
Here's my thing. Andrew Lloyd Webber's good at music and lyrics, right? Like, ostensibly, he has several hit musicals.
Mm-hmm.
When they just started listing off words, I got so mad. When they're like saying, like, housewarming cats and cat, my three favorites by far are allegorical cats. What does that mean? Political cats. What's a political cat? And this is I only got this one when I watched the stage musical, rabbinical cats. They said rabbinical cats, and there was no Hasidic Jewish cat in this musical, and where was that musical number? Where was that musical number? I want to see the rabbi cat. Show me the rabbi cat. You said it exists. You literally told me there was a rabbi cat and you didn't put it on screen? You're wasting real estate. Fiddler on the Roof, but they're all cats. How about that? Ooh, now there's an idea. Okay. This is how we save Broadway. We do mix and match musicals. Cats plus Fiddler on the Roof. Bam, there's one. What else can we do? Phantom of the Opera meets Mamma Mia. Ooh, everyone's in swimsuits. This is good. I like this. Let's do another one. Into the Woods and Hamilton. That's good. It's Hamilton, but he's in a tree. And there's a witch.
But he's in a tree.
Right.
I feel like one thing I think this suffers from, as you know, is the same thing that like Into the Woods suffers from, is like, there's some good music. I think I'd like that they didn't do the like, let's have dialogue, but have them kind of sing it. I let's talk about how I
you
hate
think that didn't happen? That was my biggest complaint of this movie.
Oh, I didn't hear them kind of sing dialogue.
Judi Dench, Ian McKellen both did it so bad.
Oh.
Both of their things. Did you know that all of their lines in the stage musical are songs? They don't have speaking lines. They're little monologues. Those are songs. And they came out here and were like, what if I sang talk them? Is that better? No, it's far worse.
Sing talk? It didn't sound I don't remember them sing talking at me.
The whole thing at the end when Judi Dench is like, let me tell you about cats.
Now that was just a song. It was a weird song that I hated, but it was just
she wasn't singing. She didn't sing a line of that song. I'll tell you right now.
Song.
Ian McKellen is out here delivering
a
theater speech. He's supposed to be singing a theater speech. All right, he's an old cat.
Are you talking about when he came out on stage and did his performance? That was, he was singing. That was him singing.
They didn't sing. Let me tell you how I know they didn't sing. As soon as I turned on the stage musical, I was like, oh, this is so much better. Not that it was better, it's that there were good singers doing the songs. And it made it so much better. That's my biggest complaint. And this is my biggest complaint with Tom Hooper and whoever else, anyone who makes a musical movie. Because 9 times out of 10, they sacrifice the music to get a well-known actor who can't sing. Now, with Les Mis, okay, let me back up, because Tom Hooper directed this, and you're going to be like, oh, he did Les Mis, he did Cats. He's the musical guy. No. He's an Academy Award-winning director who did The King's Speech.
Yeah.
And when you Google him on IMDb, you know what his first credit is? Cats. This man has an Oscar, and he directed King's Speech and Les Mis, and Cats is the first thing that comes up. A movie that made $20 million. I mean, it lost $60 million, but it had a $20 million box. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, he did the same thing with Les Mis a little bit. Hugh Jackman is a good singer. I hate his singing style, but he is a singer. And Anne Hathaway's pretty good too. But I just feel like they're like, I don't know. As soon as you turn on the original Broadway cast recording of any musical, you're like, oh, these are really good singers at least. Even if I'm not into musicals or Broadway style, you have to admit it's good singing. And most of the numbers in this, the music fell way short. And you had people that were talk singing, and you had people that weren't. And the musical numbers, they tried to add more story to the musical numbers instead of it just being like, hey, we're singing it, we're dancing it, we're having fun with it. It'll be like, no, we have to make it slower and sadder because the visuals and the storytelling, there's no story, it's Cats. There's no story. The story is we're doing a talent show and one of you is going to die at the end, okay? I don't need you to add, even they did weird stuff to try to make it make more sense. And it's like, it makes no sense. That's why it works, is it makes no sense, right? Because even in the movie, they're like, Angela, she's the new cat. She got thrown out of a bag. And in the musical, it's like, nah, they're just here. And they're like, it's time to sing. An audience is here. Check out these cats, bro. Look, that one won. That's it. That's how it goes. They break the fourth wall. And then in the movie, it's like, hey, Angela's the new cat. So all these cats have to sing to her. And the other weird thing change they made is in the stage musical, it's some cat singing about another cat. And they're like, hey, here's this cat. This is their deal, And then that cat dances around and is like, I am that cat. What can I say? And then in the movie, they're like, we're going to have the cat sing about themselves, which somehow makes it worse. And I don't quite know why. It's kind of like when Jesus was on the earth and he was like, look, I'm Jesus, but look at these scriptures that prophesy that I'm Jesus. And I'm going to let other people testify that I'm Jesus, Right? It's better to have someone else give you compliments than to stand up and be like, look, let me tell you about myself, Let me give you my pitch on myself. You know what I'm saying? It means more when someone else says it. Anyway, I hated it. And let me tell you this. I'll just give you the gist of it. Is the 1998 version of Cats amazing? No, but it is better, and I have proof. Okay. Rotten Tomatoes score for Cats movie 2020. 19 critics, 53 for audience. 1998 version only has 5 critic reviews, but it's 20% on critics, 80% on audience. there's no version of this movie that ever would have been a critical hit, right? But there is a version of this movie that people are like, hey, I'm kind of a weird musical dude, and I enjoyed it because there's good dancing and there's good singing. And that's where I think the movie failed. One, because it picked an impossible task, but two, because they didn't pick good singers and the dancing didn't look good, and they made needless changes to a plot, to a thing that has no plot. So all your changes just make it marginally worse. You know what I'm saying? Tyler, I watched 4 hours of Cats this week. That's what you understand. I binged Cats for you. And to know what happened.
Here's the thing. You've played yourself, Cody. Because you've made it obvious to me that you did not watch the movie. All right? Because one, I pulled up and watched a section of what's his face, Ian McKellen's thing.
Yeah.
He's absolutely just standing on a stage singing. No, hold on. I let you go. No. He's singing. Both of them sing their song. Judi Dench's thing, there's like a whole dance number going on around her while she's doing her song. And there's like loud music happening at the same time. So I think
Tyler,
it's fairly clear.
No, I let you go
the
1990. It's
no.
So
I let you
different.
say that you prove that you didn't watch it.
You're gonna hear the 1998 version, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, right, they weren't singing. I was wrong."
Also, her name is not Angela at all, so that's how I also know you didn't watch the movie. There's no Angela in the whole movie. How dare you, sir? There's no Alonzo,
Tyler,
I guess.
You didn't like this movie.
Here's what I hate, Cody. You're putting me in a position where I'm having to defend the movie because it's not all the areas where you're talking like, oh, this dancing, garbage. The dancing was fine. It was like a musical that was made in whatever year it came out in. You know, if you don't like the dancing, then you don't like the dancing in any of the musicals because they all have the same choreography stuff. It's always half ballet, half break dancing stuff. It's always the exact same.
You're so wrong.
Here's
what it is.
No, hold on.
In 1998, here's what it is.
Remember,
I had the perfect description. It's ballet and jazzercise. They're in cat suits and leg warmers and face paint.
But that's not what this movie had in it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They just replaced the jazzercise with breakdancing, and that's it. That's all it was. And there's a lot of spinning and a lot of weird, slow ballet moves. And I don't like that, but it was fine. Whatever. The songs were fine. I was like, this is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then I would look at it and I'm like, this is just as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because it looks bad. But the sounds, it's fine. If they change the music, who cares? They got to change something or else what's the point of it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, you got to change something or else why do it? You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't change it, then just go see the play. Go pull up the play on YouTube. Go pull up the musical. It's the exact same.
Tyler, look,
no, hold on, Cody.
Be on my side.
They're all also, they got great.
The Cats have torn us apart.
Like half the people most of the actors I think so look at me. You think Idris Elba not a good singer, right? That's what you're telling me. Idris Elba, a very successful musician, not a good singer.
Isn't he a rapper though?
But he also sings.
Okay, let me tell you this though.
He is good at
singing. Let me ask you this
Judi
question:
Dench,
does
also
McCavity have a song in the play?
I don't know, but he's got the best song in the movie.
Here's what's different about they give McCavity a bigger role, and it's kind of odd how they mix it in. Like, okay,
he's got the best. That's the best part of the movie. Is him.
What? Which song does he do?
The one where it's like him. It's him and Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember. She's in this movie. Here's
the difference. So in the original movie, this is literally the plot. They're like, hey, we're cats. Jellica Moon's out. Check it out. We're cats. McCavity comes. He kidnaps old Deuteronomy, right? And then like a song and a half later, magical Mr. Mistopheles is like, don't worry, I'm magic. And then he brings back old Deuteronomy, okay? And then old Deuteronomy's like, great. Nailed it. I like what's her face? The old one who was a sex worker. So then she goes up the moon.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There's a backstory
Cats.
here, but like I think they did too much of a half step to put story to it. They either do
and
less
then in the movie,
or do way more.
The thing that's a little different is like they have Macavity pop in. He's kidnapping all the other Jellicle cats,
right,
so that he's the only person that can be chosen. Is his plan?
Whatever. That's his plan in the movie.
No.
Yes, that's what he did in the movie.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay. That's what he does in the movie.
I was like, what are you talking about?
That's what he does in the movie. He's around much more. He sings in a song. In the musical, he literally pops up, kidnaps the dude, and then when they bring him back, he fights some people, and then he leaves. Like, that's it. He's like, he literally doesn't sing. He doesn't do anything. He goes on the stage, he's like, and then he leaves. He doesn't sing, which is kind of different. Anyway, which is fine.
It's all coming together now, Cody. You said he kidnaps the dude, Old Deuteronomy. So Old Deuteronomy is a guy in the play, in the musical?
Honestly, that's one thing that's kind of a bummer, is like Old Deuteronomy is like the pillar cat. He's like the old grandpa cat everyone loves. And in the musical, he's like a burly black man with a beautiful voice. And then in the Cats musical, or in the Cats movie, they're like, what if it was Judi Dench and she can't really sing? And you're like, okay. No. But it's less fun when there's not like a jolly man singing it, you know?
So you're sexist.
My problem is
that's why you don't like
they
the
didn't
movie.
Pick very good singers. And also they burn themselves too because, okay, Rum Tum Tugger is played by, what's his name?
Jason Derulo.
You're
right. Who's a bad singer. You're right. Yeah.
Jason Derulo.
Famously a terrible singer.
And he sings Rum Tum Tugger. And so in the musical, he's a little bit more of like a funk rock star kind of dude. And this one, they made it more R&B, which makes sense because Jason Derulo.
Yeah.
But then what's weird is, like I said, they kind of switched some of the songs so that like the cats are singing about themselves instead of having like the chorus and other cats sing about them. So then in Magical Mr. Mistopheles, in the movie, they're like, hey, we're going to have, he's bad at magic, but what if he was maybe good at magic and he's going to sing about himself? Well, in the original stage production, it's Rum Tum Tugger singing Magical Mr. Mistopheles song, and he's doing dances and magic, and he's doing great. And it's like a fun number. And I just wish they did better. Because I would have loved to hear Jason Derulo lead that song instead of making it about like, they made Magical Mr. Mistopheles bad at magic so that it could be like a story song of like, oh no, look, he can do magic. He's great, you know? I just thought it was better as a stage music. It really comes down to the singing and the dancing is like, it's just much better. And even I got so annoyed with, I love Rebel Wilson, but like that whole song is, it's the worst song in the musical, hands down.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
There's no saving that song. It's a bad song, but I will say it's a little better when it's like sung well. And the whole thing about Rebel Wilson's performance is like, she's kind of singing it bad on purpose for a laugh. And that's like your intro to the movie. Is like the movie starts and it's like, all right, we got Rebel Wilson and James Corden doing bad songs. Here we go. And you're like, this is a terrible way to start this. It gets off on such the wrong foot. She's eating the cockroaches. It's like, what is happening? And what's interesting is in the stage musical, it's like, it's what's his name? The leader cat guy who does all the intros to stuff. And he's like, all right, here's this Gumby cat. Don't know what a Gumby cat is. Her name is Jenny Anydots, and here's what she does. And then it's like a chorus of three cats doing like an Andrew Sisters style old-timey jazz number of like, when the day's hustle and bustle is through and the Gumpy Cat Circuit is from the beginning, but you know. And so like replacing that with Rebel Wilson being like, hey, look, I'm going to dance kind of funny and bad, and I'm going to sing kind of funny and bad is like, I hated the song already, but it's worse now. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know you want to defend this movie.
I don't want to defend it. That's why I'm upset, because I don't want to. I'm just saying, like,
Spats.
Here's the thing.
He calls him Puss in Spats.
Puss in Spats.
So, that's what Macavity says to him. And also, Macavity, that's the other thing that's different. In the stage musical, he's like a whisper on the winds where they're like, there's like thunder, like, Macavity, he's over here. Like, what's going on?
I was going to say, doesn't he
Let's sing about another cat.
2 scenes in the movie.
Yeah, and then in this, it's like he's popping up being like, he'll disappear someone and then go, meow. It's like,
weird.
Wait, that's my thing, is that they tried to turn it into like a fun family comedy, but what this movie is like a weirdo nerdy cat musical, and that is the only way it works when it's
Cats famously,
you know what I'm saying?
Cats famously is like traumatizing for children. In fact, if you remember, I don't know if you remember this, the stage production that the Nolan Batman's parents get killed after, it's the Bats, the musical, which is the dumbest joke in the whole world, right? But that's what it is. So it's like the whole. Here's what you get like I get where you get Idris Elba, right, and you get him in there, and they're like, oh, we gotta use him more, or like whatever. But like it's so like. Here's what I think. Okay, hold on. Let me ask you this, because I feel like we can agree on this. If I went to a production house like A24, right, that does indie movies, and I said, here is a budget of $5 million with very strict oversight, we'll maybe push it up to a hard max of 20 million. All right, meaning you got to hire like no name actors and just try to do everything practical, but like on the cheap, make this into a movie and make it into a film, not like make it into a movie musical.
Right. I
feel like they would produce a much higher quality product, not just because it's A24. Take the worst indie movie production house you've ever heard of, they would produce a better product because they would they would just make a giant paper mache stuff and have people in like high quality, like bodysuits. Because I pulled up the 2016 version of Cats, and I kind of take back a little bit what I said about the suits. The suits and costumes in that are horrifying, but that's the whole point.
The old one?
No, this is 2016 was what they have on YouTube. Is like they filmed the production, and you can like watch all the songs from 2016, whatever they had. So I don't know if it's different now.
No, I mean that's probably just someone that put up the clips from the 1998 one, because that's the only one I've seen is the 1998 film stage musical.
It was all dated 2016. Like it's a recent production of it.
Okay.
Right. But like you said, all of the stuff, they're all dressed as cats, but it's based off of like 80s fashion. Yeah. So they've got like it, like one of the guys looks like Beast from X-Men, like the big fur coat shoulders.
Well, that's Rum Tum Tugger.
Rum Tum Tugger, right? So he's like, he just looks like Beast.
He got like a big coat, like he's like a
it's so
a rock star.
I feel like you could have done this, made it like a comedy, like let's play into the ridiculousness of it, or just been like, just make it the same way.
And there's like plenty of comedic moments in the Broadway show, but it's very different playing comedy for a theater audience than it is for a movie audience. It's much broader, louder, like, hey, this is kind of silly, but we're having fun here, so it's funny. Whereas every funny moment they tried in this movie just, like, for me, fell pretty flat, Was it supposed to be funny when Rebel Wilson ate a cockroach? I don't know, but it was not funny.
Yeah, that was like, obviously, the whole song was played for laughs, and it was kind of just like, I mean, this feels weird.
It's a weird intro. Like, I don't know. My note on that, along the same lines as you, is the only way to make this movie great is if it was by Wes Anderson. Like, if Wes Anderson said, hey, I'm going to make this look amazing, he's the only person I can think of that would do it.
Have him make it, but no music at all. Like, no there singing.
Go.
No,
yeah,
100.
Sure.
That would be the best,
Yeah. I had to put my headset on for part of this movie. It made it so much worse. The cat sounds and breathing in my ear. It's just offensive. I was like, who mixed this? This is horrifying. Well, I also thought it was weird too that like the younger cats, you're like, okay, they turned them into cats. And then the older actors, you're like, they just put there was so much more definition on their face. I was like, that's a human face on a cat. Where the other ones are like, that's a humanish cat face. I don't know. It's just strange. I will say Ian McKellen, as much as I hated his performance, he was the only one method acting as a cat. And I respected the choice. Like, he was licking his paws and meowing, whereas other people were like, no, we just look like cats.
Also, well, no. Here, I will. How dare you, sir? Here's what I'll say. Okay, I'm gonna add to what you said. Right. So he was like, I will become the cat. Everyone else is like, I'm going to act like I'm in a porn and just lick my lips a lot and like kind of nuzzle everyone around me and like bite my lip way too often. Yeah. Okay, here's what I want to say to every actor in this movie.
Cats don't bite lips.
When have you ever... Why is your cat biting its non-existent lips? Because that's the problem, you know?
Oh. Well, you know what's interesting? The one thing they did add for this movie is Taylor Swift wrote a song.
Right.
And it's performed briefly by Victoria. That's why I misnamed as Angela earlier. She sings a little bit. It's like, all I ever wanted was I am a cat, you know, however it goes. I will say, if you stick around for the end credits, you hear Taylor Swift's version, you're like, oh, this is a pretty good song. Yeah, it makes no sense in this musical, but it's a pretty good song when Taylor Swift is singing it, and it's not like, which goes back to, I just don't think Tom Hooper knows how to put music on screen. Like, I don't like his choices for the performances. I don't know. It's just so different. In the Broadway original cast, it's like these big choruses of really good singers singing, and it has all this body to it. And then you get to the movie, he's like, all right, Rebel Wilson, you're doing a solo, make it silly. It's like, well, loses a lot of quality of the music when it's a solo instead of a triple harmony. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Also, okay, let's go through the clothing. Sing a bad song when isn't she like a good singer?
She's a decent singer. She was in Pitch Perfect, and she does fine in there. Like, she can hold a tune. Okay, so cat clothes. You touched on it briefly.
Stuff is,
some are in clothes,
80s.
Which means the rest of them are naked, right?
Right.
But then some are just in shoes. The Mohawk breakdancing cats are just in shoes. So explain that to me. But then some have coats. Some have cat skin coats, but underneath they have their normal cat fur. But then you have some, what's his name? Railway Cat, Skimbleshanks. The Railway Cat wears trousers with suspenders, right?
Right.
But in the musical, he wears a vest with no pants. So they switched it. Which makes
more sense, you know?
They switched it. Also, I will say there was one thing I liked better about the movie. And in the movie, Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat, is a tap dancer, which is a really fun way to use the rails. And in the stage musical, he's just a cat in a vest with a little, rail. What do you call it? The watch, the little
little pocket watch.
Whatever.
Yeah,
pocket watch. So that's the only thing. There's like 3 or 4 great songs in this movie, and there's 2 or 3 that are fine, and there's 4 or 5 that are hot trash. I'm looking at you, Mungo Jerry Rumple Teaser. I'm looking at you, Jenny Any Dots, the Gumby Cat. I'm looking at you, Puss in Spats. What's your name? The James Corden. It's just a bad number. But they did cut out a couple of numbers. There's a whole number, and it's a story about police dogs. And it's called like The Pollicles and the Peaks. And it's like cats wearing dog heads doing a story, and it's terrible. So they did cut a couple things from here, and they added one song. So I don't know, man. Judi Dench opens her legs in arousal when Ian McKellen's giving his song. That bummed me out.
Can I just give you a hot take? I know I said earlier, we know why you don't like the movie because you're sexist because they changed.
Right.
I hate Judi Dench in the movie. It makes me uncomfortable. It looks wrong in every way.
She looks, and like I said, they didn't CG a new face onto a cat. It's like every detail of her face, but then there's a cat around it. Like, I don't know.
But also the cat that she is playing.
Yeah.
The way that she's played it, it could have been, like you said, if it was like an old black guy or something, like a jolly old black guy like it is in the stage play, it sounds like. Could have been fun. But instead, it's like, when you went over to your friend's house and they had a cat that was 26 years old and you're like, oh my gosh, when it walks into the room and it's like comes in and they're like, oh, he likes you, Mr. Cuddles. And the cat's like, as it like nuzzles you and you're like, feel things moving inside of it. And you're like, oh no, that's what Old Deuteronomy gave me the vibe of.
Oh yeah, no, it was a poor choice.
I hated it. I had a fat cat. I feel like the vibe of like either like to Rebel Wilson or like to the Old Deuteronomy when my cat was an old cat. Mm-hmm. I also had like an old tiny cat, which I feel like would have been more of the vibe to go for if you got Judi Dench. When you got like the person who's got the adorable cat that was like this big, but now the cat's like 20 years old. and they're like, you're like, oh, so precious. Not like it's gonna die at any moment, but like it's old and you gotta be gentle with it. But it's still poofy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I didn't get I got the vibe of like, you're gonna puke on my rug, and I don't want that.
Oh yeah.
And then I got the vibe from everyone else. Like there were so many people in there that I'm like, these people are cats. You're a weirdo in a suit that wants to have sex with these actual cats. I got that vibe from so many of these people.
Yeah. Like
you said, when Judi Dench is looking at Ian McKellen, I was like, Ian McKellen, cat. Judi Dench, just a creepy old lady that snuck in here, you know?
Yeah, dude.
We got to get these old cat ladies out of here.
Oh, speaking of old Deuteronomy, my next thing I hated was when Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer abbreviate their name. They're like, we didn't know he was gonna hurt old dude. Like, excuse me? Did you just abbreviate old Deuteronomy to old dude? I don't know why, but that's terrible. I hate it. They also try to redeem Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer. They try to retcon it and be like, hey, we helped McCavity, but we didn't know. And in the movie, they're just straight up like, McCavity? He's a bad dude. He's a straight up criminal. You know who helps him out? These guys. It's like,
these troublemakers.
Why are we trying to redeem the people? And look, let's back up a little bit. This is based on a musical, which is based on some poems that T.S. Eliot wrote about cats, okay? Just to make sure you know the full lore, okay? Place. T.S. Eliot, Mungo Jerry, Rumpelteazer. Worst cat names I've ever heard, all right? Terrible.
They're the Those cat aren't names even you could names. Never think of.
You know what I'm saying? Hated it.
You know?
I hated it
You
so
could
much.
never think of them. What was your cat name?
Ripple Nips.
Ripple Nips.
Pretty good. It's along the lines of Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer, but it's more rooted in reality. Also, McCavity, barely ginger. They specifically say he's a ginger cat. And then in the movie, it's like he's brown. And then once he hits some sunlight, you're like, he's slightly ginger, all right? Barely. You know what I'm saying? Why did they make him so black? You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to be cats, but then Judi Dench is like white, and then Idris Elba like is black. You know what I'm saying? They're cats, right? Why do they have human skin color, but they're cats? He's supposed to be ginger. So the fact that they hired a black man to play Ginger's role, what are we even doing? What's representation in Hollywood anymore? You know what I'm saying? Also, They did him dirty with his eyes. They made his eyes look so bad in some scenes. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. So like I said, I was working on, I was like trying to catch up on work, and I asked you, like, can I put this on another monitor and just kind of slightly watch it? So there were some parts, like I said, like a lot of the music, I just heard the music and then I would look and I'd be like, oh gosh, the looking at it really ruins it. But like all the times where I caught his eyes, I was like, they're really popping and they're selling me on the he's an evil dude route. But I will say they were very inconsistent with they were inconsistent going back to like inconsistent with his vibe of like, is this supposed to be funny or scary? I can't tell. And the brightness of his eyes was so like, it's like, just make a choice here. Are they glowing or are they not?
The other thing is like everything's CG, right? It's a CG like setting and CG cats. It's a full CG musical. And that's
did it seem like it needed to be CG?
What?
It didn't seem like there's enough variety to the sets.
What? How did that?
It's like they're outside. You have a roof, the street, a room, and the stage. That's 4 sets you have to build.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, offer him a $5 million budget, but like let him go up for like maybe some stuff.
That's
like,
what's kind of different about the stage musical too. It's basically in a dumpster, basically, and it's just like this is where we are, and they do all the everything more or less. I don't know why were the cats so small, but also why were their heads so big? Their faces.
Okay, but when they're on the street, there's parts where they're weirdly big. Where I'm like, they're
all over the place, dude. They they had to have thought so hard about how to make these cats look, but then the scale is all wrong. I have a note that says "Don't need with the crazy cat lady."
Oh, when Rebel Wilson says, "Yeah, she's gonna beat up the barge cat," and she's like, "Don't mess with the crazy cat lady." Here's what I will say. I think
the cat jokes were bad.
Had they leaned in 200% more to Rebel Wilson and James Corden, the movie would have been better. Had they been like, this is stupid. We all know this is a joke musical. Let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Because like James Corden, like when he was talking about like he's just a fat cat, he just wants to be reincarnated as just so that he can be thin, so that he can get fat all over again. I was like, man, you're nailing this vibe, and I love it, and you're fun. But then it's like, then they're singing, and then there would be like, and now it's real because McCavity killed him. And I'm like, you're really whiplashing me back and forth. Is this goofy or is he murdering people?
Well, just
tell me what's happening.
He kidnaps the cats away to a boat on the river, and it's like, that's also not in the stage music. They kind of invented that character too, the Grumble Teaser or whatever his name, Grumble, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. And then you have to have Ian McKellen
Teaser's just some
attack him, and he's like, that's how you're really scared. Because I think it's literally a callback to the lore of Ian McKellen's character's most famous role that he played as like a villain is supposed to be that guy. And so it's just weird, but you're like, we're really diving deep into a shallow pool, like to get some of these references. I don't know, man. Okay. My other complaint, Jennifer Hudson, it's just her face on a cat.
Is she? Hold on. Is she in the movie?
Jennifer Hudson plays Grisabella, the glamour cat, who wins the competition and gets to die.
Right. Got it. Yes.
It's just Jennifer Hudson's face.
Yeah.
And she's not old, but it's supposed to be an old, decrepit, sad old cat. And then it's just Jennifer Hudson's face. And
I thought it was just a strung out cat.
She's supposed to be old. And then that's what's different. Is like in this, like, okay, so we'll have her in the corner. No one will touch her. And then she'll sing kind of soft and quiet. And then she'll sing a little loud. And that's it. Whereas in the stage production, it's like, oh, she's so old. And she doesn't have it anymore. But she tries to do her dance. And she's like, it's not the same. I'm not good anymore. You know, like you see like all these visual clues of like, oh, I get it. And that's my other complaint.
I thought she was just sad.
Tom Hooper did this every time. Does this every time, right? Instead of like this person belting the one truly great song in the movie, in the musical, it's like Jennifer Hudson, sing it really quiet for a while. We'll give you one chance to belt it out. And then in the musical, it's like, no, she's really singing this emotion out. And it's just so much better to hear this song in full throat. You know what I'm saying? She's not decrepit. She's not old. She's just there. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make sense. So the visuals never make sense in any regard, but especially not for like, what should be the highlight of the movie is everyone sees something special in Grisabella, even though she looks terrible. She sings this great song with this great meaning, and so she gets to go up to, are we ready? The Heaviside layer, which is old-timey speak for the atmosphere. It's a layer of, it's like the stratosphere layer of the sky. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the old-timey name, London-y name for it. So that's what they're saying. We're going to send you up into a balloon. They're not even saying we're going to kill you. They're saying we're going to send you up in a balloon. We'll see what happens. Maybe you'll be reincarnated as someone you're less sad to be, you know? Anyway, so that was like just disappointing. My favorite line.
Any of the people I'm trying to look for.
What do they say? The absolute divinity of unashamed felinity. It's like, Andrew Lloyd Webber, you put so much thought and effort into Cats. You know, good for you for spending. How long does it take to write a musical? 3 to 5 years. Good for you for spending that long on these lyrics. And at the end, you know what the moral of the story is? You ready? You ready for it? A cat is not a dog. Give him a little treat if you want to say hello. That's the end. That's the ending monologue from Judi Dench.
Yeah, the end song is weird.
We're kitty cats, all right? We're not dogs. Give me some salmon paste. And she does the mouth sounds. And then they're like, deuces. We nailed it. You're welcome. See, now imagine it's a jolly old black man, and he's spelting that all out. And it's like, is this bad still? Yes. But yes. Do I hate it? Less. Also yes. And is he smacking his lips into the microphone? He is not. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like, okay, let's go back. So Andrew Lloyd Webber, let's be real. Let's break him down, okay? What does he do? He got gifted at like a white elephant Christmas party, a T.S. Eliot poem collection. And he's like, this is it. This is all I need forever now. And that's all he ever did, was just read those and be like, I based this musical about a talking wheel of cheese and his adventure to save the Soviet Union on these poems about a bear. And you're like, no, you didn't. Andrew Lloyd Webber, no, you did not. I hate you. Stop it. Just make music. It's like he should have just been a music producer, writing music for people. But instead he's like, no, I need to make you sit through a weird musical to get my songs.
Look.
And I don't like him for it.
I feel like
but also,
we need
Cats
more
is
background.
like, I feel like
when you go to see Cats on Broadway, I've heard this. You go in the lobby and they have giant sized dumpsters. So you are the scale of a cat. Like when you go into it, it's like, hey, here's set design as you walk in the lobby to be like, oh, we're entering a weird world where I live in a garbage can and I'm a kitty cat.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different experience to do that versus to show up at a theater and be like, computer face, big head, small, big cats. You want to watch it?
Yeah.
So that's my thing. And also like the choreography, I don't like dance very much. It doesn't sell me in a movie, But I will say it's very different in the stage musical to like sit there and have like 30 amazing ballet trained dancers doing all the choreography and it's just a bunch of cats and you're like, you know what? I guess I'm in it and we're watching this and it's fine. Versus like these big wide shots of, all right, look at them go. They're moving. Look at them twitch and move. Look at these cats dance. You like it.
Yeah, I don't like when it was just a wide shot of a ton of cats being like,
no, so
it's like,
bad.
Look, because, okay, you have a cat.
Yes.
I've sat and I've watched Boog. I've observed him.
My cat is
for
sat
lengths
on you,
of time.
All right. I've seen him jump up in your lap.
I've seen Boog not move for so long that I'm like, I'm going to have Cody that his cat is dead.
Yeah.
Because Boog is definitely dead. That's what's happened before. But if you ask Andrew Lloyd Webber or Tom Hooper, it's like cats never stop moving. It's constant motion. If they stop, their heart doesn't work right because it's how they, you know what I mean? That's what I think the problem is. But also, let me break down some of the stuff. First off, I want to get through some gripes here real quick. One, the coat's gone. You're right. Remember the coat being gone?
Yeah. Also, you
so
said he has
many
a
of them
coat.
take
He's got
off
a
their
hat
clothes.
too. All right.
He does have a hat. You're right. Which I only specified Magical Mr. Mistopheles.
Well, yes. Oh,
he's
sorry.
the hat.
Go ahead.
All their ears go through the hat, which is a choice. But I only did specify Magical Mr. Mistopheles hat. But you're right. What's his face? McCavity has a hat as well. All the other ones, when they take their clothes off, they just kind of, it's like, cool, it's just a cat. But McCavity looks like a naked man, right? Yeah. When he comes down and he's like sitting there without his coat.
They give him like a full chest and, it's a chest and legs.
Speaking
and a groin,
of chest,
bulge, he's got it going.
That goes into my next point. They have so many actors in here and actresses where they're like, yep, you just have a cat body. Maybe there's some maybe there's a little booby bump because you got to make it a little sexy for the kids, right?
Sure.
But then T Swift comes on the stage and it's like, oh, that's just a lady in a cat suit. Okay, that's not a cat. That's just a person. We're watching like just a Taylor Swift music video, and I'm like, this was a weird choice. Because also, then it leads me into my next point here. Of the Taylor Swift part of the McCavity song.
Yeah.
Gives me the same vibes. I will say less egregiously because it fits in a musical as the Aladdin movie song.
Yeah.
That everybody hated. Where it's like, this is a music video for Taylor Swift in the middle of a movie about cats that looks weird. All right. Right?
Yeah.
It's like they spent so much more time on it, but they did it so much earlier that it looks worse. But you could tell they put more money and time into it, but it looks a little worse than everything else.
Yeah.
Also, all of the choreography. Here's what I think. Why I think you hate it, and I don't disagree with you because I don't love it or hate it. I'm just saying it is like it is what is considered good choreography nowadays. Like this kind of thing is because it's all music video choreography. They didn't choreograph it like a movie or a musical. I feel like it's all like a music video, which is all right. Everybody dance together.
They made me so upset. I was like, why do they have mohawks? Explain the mohawks
cool
to me.
Cats. Have you never given a cat a mohawk, Cody?
Oh, I didn't like them. They made me uncomfortable.
Every time I'm scrolling through the pictures,
so mad Jason Derulo didn't sing "Magical Mr. Mistopheles." That's my favorite song in the musical, and they just boned him out of it. They were like, "How about this? You don't get to sing this song, and this guy we never heard of gets to sing it."
Don't tell me you have a favorite song in the musical.
When I was a kid, that was my favorite. I don't know how many times my mom rented this from the library, but it must have been like 5.
Your mom likes childhood. This? Oh,
why do you think this cat Macavity was haunting my nightmares? Because this VHS kept popping up in my house. Here's the thing. This was like the longest running musical on Broadway or something for like a minute, like a hot minute. It's been like 30 years on Broadway, I think.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
This man wrote Phantom of the Opera.
Talk about Taylor. Let's talk about T Swift real quick.
He wrote the School of Rock musical. He also gave us Joseph the Technicolor
Taylor Swift Elliott. Okay.
Jesus Christ Superstar. Also Cats. Yeah. Let's just loop back around to Cats.
Yeah.
Busterford Jones and White Spats.
Okay. Here's the thing. I do know why Cats is such a long running musical. It's not because it's good.
Cheap.
It's because it's cheap to do.
Leg warmers, face paint, you're good to go.
Exactly. You can do it so much cheaper than like Phantom of the Opera or Lion King.
It's an ensemble. You don't need you don't need to pay an Indina Menzel or whoever.
You really only need the named character actors. You don't really need background people. And if you do, you just need maybe
you can rotate several of them. There's only a few that are like mainstays throughout.
But here's the thing, okay? I had a thing. I was looking at the picture. Okay. But that's why it's been going for so long. Okay. Oh gosh. Yeah. She came back up. Oh, there's so many pictures of her. It's so horrifying. Also, the only cat that looks old is Ian McKellen and Deuteronomy here. Dudes. Okay, I remember what it was. Taylor Swift comes out of nowhere and then just F's off, right? Like it's like, here's the most important person.
Yeah, because they had her for 2 days.
Yeah,
like they had her for 2 days, so they shot her a little music video and they bailed. Yeah.
But it's like, and then maybe just like don't do her in the movie then, that seems like what everyone else does.
But she wrote the song. See, they were trying to get the bait for best Oscar for best song by doing
then just fully CG her or something, Oh, it's almost like you could have just taken like a scan of her face.
I don't know, man.
Just done it that way.
My biggest takeaway when I watch the stage musical is this is dorky AF, but the singing is better. And that's what I prefer. That's what I'm at a musical for, is for the singing. And then my final thought on the movie is, this is also kind of related to the stage musical, but this is a cat opera of vignettes. And I don't know how you make like a legitimate movie out of it. It's just...
That's what it felt like, okay? It did feel like this is just a bunch of stuff that is just happening, and they tried to string it together, which has been a gripe I've had with like movies that you've brought up. But the difference is those movies that we've watched are like tiny little indie movies.
This guy's... Idris Elba has toes. This man
you're talking about the feet?
Full toes, full fingers. Yeah. He's like... Yeah.
This is just a naked man sitting on a statue of a cat. And
I mean, if you showed me him and made me look at the cat statue, I would tell you those are two different objects / species. Like,
can you tell that his face is facing
it's just
this
his
way?
Face, and then he has fuzzy cat ears on top of it.
But also,
that's what I'm saying.
His
though,
face is like looking up, and his head is looking down.
It was the same with Jennifer Hudson. Like the two black actors in this, they just had their faces on the cats. Like it was weird.
Let's see if I can go back to her. I also don't like
Jason
Jennifer
Derulo
Hudson's
again though.
character.
You just had Jason Derulo up. Is he the same way? He's much cattier. He's much more of a cat than Jennifer Hudson and Idris Elba. I'll give him that.
Yeah, his whole vibe looks much more like this is just I don't know why you would CG this. This is just a
How does he got a
costume
stupid
from,
fishbone necklace? Come on.
There she is. Yeah,
Oh,
that's a bad one.
She's supposed to be like
They tried to bring her mouth out weirdly.
Washed up cat. I don't know if in the poem she's a sex worker, because I think in the musical they just talk about like she was the glamour cat. She's not glamorous anymore.
Yeah,
but,
I got the vibe that she's was
much
like
cattier than
she
Idris
went
Elba.
with.
What did they do to Idris Elba? It's just his face.
It's just his face, and it's weird. But I like they're like, oh, she went with McCavity, like she chose to be like, she's like, oh, I'm gonna go with him. I didn't get the sex worker thing that you're getting.
I mean, I think it's deep in the lore. She's the glamour cat. No, I
hate it.
Get her off stage. I don't want to see that.
The legs are weird. Also, they all have toes. But like some of them, like her, that's have just
more webbing. Like they're, some are more webbed and more. Others are like, no, you could suck on this toe if you wanted, like the whole thing.
Yeah, some of these people are halfway through the Animorph transition. Some of them are just somebody that showed up to the convention in a morph suit, and they're like hoping nobody looks too closely.
Yeah.
There she is.
Is that T-Swizzle?
T-Swizzle.
Is that Travis Kelce's girlfriend?
Yeah. Which is really funny because she's one of the few that they like. Yeah, they like do the fur over her face, and
you could have just given these people like cat eye eyeliner and little like cat ears, like like the wear costume cat. They could have put them in Halloween sexy cat costumes and made this a good movie. Now
I will say, I do think even in my just do morph suit idea, I would use CG to make the fur look like it's coming over their face.
Sure.
Because I think that adds more than the creepy face paint.
Right.
It looks like because even the best like Broadway production of Cats, it looks like they all got their face makeup done at the fair, at like the county fair.
Absolutely.
But also that's because those guys are copying the face makeup from Cats,
Yeah, for sure.
She is.
I mean, should we just go through? Oh gosh, which one's that? What cat is that?
I don't know. Usually it says the actor's name down here, but it's glitching out, so it's not telling me.
Should we just look at the track list and just give a quick rundown? Because, some of these are classic songs. Tyler, give me your hot take. All right?
My hot take is the movie
we got Jellicle song for Jellicle Cats. Is it a banger or no?
Song. No.
Naming of Cats?
No, absolutely not.
Invitation to the Jellicle Ball?
I think it's the best of those three, but no.
The Old Gumby Cat?
No.
Rum Tum Tugger?
Maybe. I don't know all the songs. I don't even remember them.
That's the Jason Derulo one. Mr. Mistopheles. Let me tell you, in the stage musical Magical Mr. Mistopheles, he's like a great dancer. He's doing splits. He's making himself disappear and reappear. He's doing old-timey magic tricks. He's making stuff. He's doing sparks on the stage. It's so much fun. And in this, they're like, let's gather around and hear this cat sing about himself. It's like, no. Yeah. I want Rum Tum Tugger singing about this cat. And I want him, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
See, I'm just saying,
love it.
Inject another couple million into this, and I think it looks great. You know what I'm saying? But I would here's one thing I would do. I would keep the After Effects. I would if you're going to lean into it, keep that After Effects style, for all of the effects, because to do a really high quality movie with really poor looking special effects, but they fit with the style of the movie is actually kind of expensive and difficult to do. Mm-hmm. It's because we watched a movie not too long ago where they did do that, where it's it has purposefully terrible effects, but it was actually really advanced and hard to do effects.
Man,
all right, dude almost kicked himself in the ear.
Let me tip my hat to Andy Lloyd Webber. I think Rum Tum Tugger's a good enough song. All right, I think Old Deuteronomy's a good one. I think Skimble Shanks is pretty good. Magical Mr. Mistopheles, it's a banger. And Memory is a really good song. It's a really good song, and it didn't get its full due. And it's I think they wasted Jennifer Hudson a little bit, and they wasted the song a little bit. But there you go. You know, there are a few good songs in here, and I just don't think they did a good job, and I disliked this. It's also weird to me that it's like they picked 5 really famous actors and then a bunch of random no-name people. And it's like, why didn't they ball out and go all, or go the other way, which I would prefer, and be all really good singers, you know? Give me a bunch of good singers.
Yeah, because I feel like, I mean, if you're going to do it all CG and everything like that, then just, you know, you can almost just hire Broadway actors and do it with them, you know?
Right. You could also lip sync.
I mean, but also it's going to be bad because they do stuff too, like, campy and over the top, but it wasn't good anyway, so.
Oh, man.
Here's the problem. I just watched the movie.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell where some of the songs ended and other ones began. But I thought as a whole, the music was okay. But like you were saying, like the Gumby Cat, like the songs that were played for jokes, I thought were not great.
There's just a night and day difference. As soon as you turn on like the Broadway singing, you're like, oh, this should have been a bunch of people singing this song and not.
Oh, there he is.
Whatever.
There's just a nude Idris Elba.
McCavity is supposed to pop up and do a dance fight with people.
He's so shiny.
And instead he shows up here and he's like, no, let me get in on the singing. Oh. And let me have some speaking lines where I say, hey, I'm the only contestant, so pick me. It's like, you don't understand how this works, right? You know? He doesn't even understand how the competition works. It's not really a prize. You get murdered. It's a murder balloon. You know?
But it's what they all want. You get to be what you've always wanted to be.
No, you get a different life and no one knows what that life's going to be. You know what I'm saying?
No. They told the cat, the first thing they told her was, you get to be what you've always dreamt of being.
Yeah, I don't think that's canonical to the original stage production. The original intention of T.S. Eliot's cat poems, you know?
There's so many. Look at it. Okay, here's a good example too of like some of the stuff that I hated. Look how, you know, pre-release CG Magical Mr. Mistopheles looks right here.
Yeah.
Like this looks like, okay, we're just, you know,
we're working on
just so, you know, yeah, we still got to go in and like give him like texture and make his motions random. Also, I felt like randomly some of them were like, oh yeah, they're moving in 60 frames per second because they forgot to like set them to 24 frames per second.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, random cat number 2 is moving at like butter smooth and everyone else is moving like normal. You know what I'm saying? So it feels like the movie wasn't done, but also it's bad, but also is the musical really better? Because here's my thing. Okay, Cody, I'm about to say something that's going to invalidate my opinion to a lot of people.
Okay.
If I had to ask you, okay, to tell me, what is the most recently popular musical? Like recently, what's like the most popular one? You know what I'm saying? Like the one that blew
Broadway?
everyone away. Yeah.
I don't really know. The last one I can think of for me was probably Dear Evan Hansen. Was the last one I like heard rumblings about.
I've never heard of that one ever, so I was just gonna say Hamilton.
Yeah,
because I feel like that's the one that's joined this.
Yeah, Hamilton's right before
level of musical recently. Sure. Because the fact that I've never heard of Dear Evan Hansen, I would argue means it has not hit that level.
Yeah,
everybody loves it.
You know, you got Avenue Q, you got your Book of Mormon musical, you got your. There's another one I heard about. Rumblings about this man. Let me back up though, but
it's not good music. Okay, that's what I was going to say. It's not good.
Let me just shout out.
It's
Tom
never
Hooper
good music
again, because this guy directed the John Adams TV miniseries, The King's Speech, Les Miserables, The Danish Girl, which is one of the ones that got what's his name, Eddie Redmayne, famous, and then also Cats. You know.
Okay, so he was really good at period pieces, so they gave him Les Mis, which then people were like, so you do musicals. And he just said, if the check clears, then yes.
Yeah. What a project. I didn't really look at any trivia because but what are we doing?
Let's go down together. I am sharing my screen with you, so let's just go down together. All right, let's go into it. I bet it's going to be trash or it's going to be the best. Okay. 2 days after announced they would release a new version. That's right. Yeah. I don't know if you remember. I do remember this where they're like, yeah, like psych, we're doing an updated version, which I don't think they ever actually did. I remember, right?
Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber was so affected by the disastrous reception of this movie that he ended up adopting a Havanese puppy and had the dog registered as a therapy pet. When asked by the airline via a note asking if he really needed the dog, he responded, yes, just see what Hollywood did to my musical cats. The airline sent approval back with a note saying no doctor's report required. What? That can't be real. That's not a real story.
Well, I think I remember, he came out as being like, no, this is not good.
It was originally intended to be a traditionally animated movie before Tom Hooper came on board. So Tom Hooper came on board and said, you were going to animate this? Let's CG animate live performance human faces on cats instead of,
I mean, it would have been better, but it definitely wouldn't have
been
done
great,
any better. Yeah. But like, I do think, because here's the thing, as much as like, I feel like Andrew Lloyd Webber is like, whatever, probably kind of snooty about his stuff. I do feel he's got to know that cats, there's no way people take cats seriously as a musical. Like, I feel like the whole thing of it is it's so ridiculous. The music is fun. Like you said, it's very 80s.
No, Tyler.
And the costumes are so crazy that's why it's good.
These can't
you know what I mean?
The visual effects artist said that they had 6 months to produce the 2-minute, 30-second trailer, 4 months to produce the rest of the film.
But I would argue that, that makes sense.
Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote to Universal and said, you've got a car crash on your hands unless you get a grip on this thing, and never received a reply. Tom Hooper made them sing live on the day instead of to a playback track. That explains why the singing's not that great. That's what they did in Les Mis.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, Les Mis, it's Hugh Jackman who tours as a singer, and Anne Hathaway who is a good singer, and they did well in some of their songs, but also you had Russell Crowe, struggling through his number and a half,
Yeah, which it's never, and I guess you kind of see that's why some of them aren't the best, like you said, but I mean, that would make sense why, because I was sitting there listening because I wasn't looking at the screen when Taylor Swift came down, and I was just like, the music quality really just jumped a ton, and I looked over, I was like, oh, because that's Taylor Swift. And that makes sense because it's of course she could probably sing the song well.
But Tyler, this says Dame Judi Dench was originally cast in the 1981 stage production of Jenny Annie-Dot's Anne Grisabella. She tore her Achilles, had an Achilles injury. She was withdrawn from the show. She was replaced by Elaine Page, who was the famous Grisabella memory person singer. But there's no way she was so bad at singing.
Yeah, but gotta also remember, Cody, I don't know if you know about this, but 1981 was probably 80 years ago.
That's wild. Stage version is the fourth longest running show in Broadway history.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Because I can't remember, what's the longest running one? Is it Phantom?
That could be. That sounds right.
I feel like that was the one, but then it was they took it down, and another one, the one that was a month behind it, passed it. But
Phantom of the Opera had 13,000 performances. Chicago had 10,000 performances. Lion King had 10,000. Okay. Wicked had 7,000. Well, I wonder if this is, this wouldn't include Cats then. Cats is fifth now on this list, 7,400. Les Mis, how does Les Mis have fewer than, Les Mis 6,600. Chorus Line,
again, because Les Mis is probably more,
Mamma Mia,
expensive.
Beauty and the Beast, Rent, Book of Mormon, Jersey Boys, Miss Saigon, Aladdin, Grease, Fiddler on the Roof. Interesting. Really drops off.
Yeah, I feel it's that's part of the thing of why it's impressive that Wicked and Phantom of the Opera have run so many times, because they're expensive to put on. Oh, speaking of which, Cody, just as a side, since we're just talking about Broadway in general, Have you seen what the dirty, dirty things they've done to Shrek the musical, which I find hilarious?
No.
They really took it from like, I mean, it's a dumb musical that, but like the costumes and everything were like, you could tell they put a lot into them.
Yeah.
Even though like Donkey is still just a dude in a weird donkey suit.
Yeah.
But they like really cheaped out on the stage on the one that's traveling, and like made it a whole non-union thing, and like got rid of everybody and redid everything. And so it went from like looking like a Broadway musical about Shrek to, like your local high school did a better version of it. And it's like, yeah, no, this is the actual official company that does it, like that owns the rights to it, and their touring company. And then it's like, so like a lot of the pictures are them next to a lot of like community college theater groups and their versions of it, and it looks so much better. It's but anyway, yeah, like so yeah, I will say like these are good. Some of these are good. Some of these not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Steven Spielberg planned to make it, and it's like, yeah, cool. I don't care. That's not good.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm over it. Tyler, I want to hear your grade for this movie, and then I'm gonna give you my grade as well as my grade for the 1998 version.
I will give this movie gotta be A+. No, I would never. This movie, I'm gonna go with a D+, because I don't think it deserves as much hate as I would give it, but it did cause COVID, which is hard. Right. And it is a bad movie. I think here's what I say to everybody: go to Netflix, pull it up, do something else while it's playing. Just listen to it in the background, and it'll be so much better.
Tyler, no,
it's so much better.
If you really watch this, you would have given it an F like me. It's getting an F. It's an F movie. I'll tell you this. The stage musical, I'll give it a solid C. It's not quite my thing, but the music is good, and the dancing's really good, which is not a selling point for me, and it looks a little strange, and it's weird, but it's like a certain class of people. I get why they like it. Like Broadway nerds, sure, have it. I want you to have it and enjoy it. There are some good songs in it. But yeah, I would give the 1998 version a C. This is a straight F for me. It failed on all accounts. And that's all I got to say about it. If you're going to do what Tyler said, do it with the 1998 version, because the singing is so much better, you know? Don't you want to hear a David Bowie / Prince / Mick Jagger hybrid cat sing about a magic cat named Mr. Mistopheles? Doesn't that sound better, than whatever you saw?
Yeah. But also lower my grade. Just do a D. You know what? Just do it.
There we go.
I want to do a D-, but I'm like,
they tried
some of the songs were okay.
There were some okay songs,
But also, okay, let me talk through this a little bit, if I may. Okay. It's such a bad execution on a bad concept. Right. So I feel like you're justified in the F. But I feel like the F is like if when I finished it, it was like, if Tiffany's like, I really want to watch it, I'm not going to like kill myself to get out of it watching the movie again. You know what
Tyler,
I mean?
I will make this promise to you right now. I will never watch this movie again in my life.
Well, you watched it like 8 times, and that's an insane. And you like I said,
this is because of you.
Could tell that you didn't watch it.
Do you understand that? Do you understand this is
your
fault?
You knew when we went into the machine and the device, I put it in there as it was us playing Russian roulette. Now, the thing is, I was going to redo the list before we got here, but I forgot to do that. And now I'm scared to do
pull
the
up
machine.
Our podcast. He's like, I want to see what Cody's been watching lately. Maybe I'll get some ideas for some good movies. And he just texted me, dude, you've been watching some terrible movies. I'm like, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you noticed how bad the movies are Tyler's making me watch. All right, pull it up. Come on. Let's
First
roll
off,
the
this
barrel
movie,
of this six
a
shooter
critical
and
darling.
just give it another go.
Change my thing to an F. Just do it. Just change it to an
D.
F.
No,
it's just
I'm
like
not changing it from the D. You gave
no,
it a
change
D.
it because it's like, but they did a bad job. It's like no point did they do a good job of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even the songs that are good, it's like they made them worse
Right.
than the original
That's
version,
true.
right? So it's like they made a worse version of every single part of it.
I was singing Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat, all week. I'll tell you that.
Now that I will say, I don't remember them, but I do remember the scene, and that one got me into it the most. Where I was like, "This got grooved."
And that's what Mr.
Like
Mistopheles should have been like. Those are the two that are like, hey, these are just fun, good songs. You know, they're a little silly, but they're fun. And that's where they, that's where they did. Not only did they do Mr. Mistopheles dirty, but they stole a solo away from Rum Tum Tugger. You got like two legit singers in this. 3. Taylor Swift, Jennifer Hudson, and Jason Derulo. And you didn't even use them to their full potential. That's where there's just Tom Hooper. Stick to your period dramas, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird.
Give our musicals to Wes Anderson and Wes Anderson alone. Oh, you were talking about musicals?
Did you want to try to guess that?
I will say there's one musical movie I've seen that I was like, that was great. It was the Steven Spielberg version of West Side Story. Was very good. I thought it was very, very good. So there you go.
Well, I mean,
Shout
here's
out
the thing.
you.
I enjoy The Greatest Showman, but that's a movie with music videos.
Well, you talked about La La Land as a
is.
musical, and it's just a real disservice to that movie to call it a musical. It's
again, is it just
an
a movie with some
excellently
singing?
made rom-com with 4 or 5 songs in it, and only 1 or 2 are like musical style songs. You know what I'm saying?
But that's how a musical movie should be. If you want to do it where it's singing the whole time,
it's not
then
tied
don't make a
together
movie.
like a normal musical. It's nowhere near.
Yeah.
Like Greatest Showman is a musical, and it's a movie.
Yeah.
I'm saying La La Land
like
is
you
half
could take
that.
the
like
songs
half
out
as
of
much
it.
music as is in Greatest Showman. That's how many songs are in La La Land. It is not central to the plot in any way. It's like a bonus thing, that they have a couple musical numbers in it.
But here's what I would say. If you're making a movie, a musical, okay, you should be able to remove all of the songs
and it still works.
And maybe reshoot it as a scene with just dialogue.
Yeah.
Like some of the scenes that you'd have to with Greatest Showman. But then it should just work as a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Can you imagine the Gumby Cat Jenny Anydot scene as just dialogue?
Now,
let me tell you about this cat.
Here.
She's a Gumby cat. What makes a Gumby cat? She is a Gumby cat. All right, she's out here. Gumby cat. Her name's Jenny Anydots. She got cockroaches. She got mice. She's out here. That's what makes a Gumby cat. That's how that would go. And then your brain would fall out of your mouth, and then you die, and the movie would be over. Great.
But what I'm saying is, if there's a chance to make one of the best, funniest movies of all time, to just make cats with no music at all, but like
cats as a one
and then have someone shut it down.
Play.
Yes, like just
love it.
Everything's never
you've
seen.
Never
maybe
heard
have
of a
2 or 3
jellicle
times.
cat, political cats, rabbinical cats, allegorical cats. I would love to hear someone say all of those words.
Okay, what's the main guy? What's the guy? This guy.
Main guy.
Munkus Strap. You have him. You cast an incredibly effeminate gay man to play him, and he's taking her around town, introducing her to everybody, and he's dishing on all the hot goss. That's the movie we deserved, and what we got was. Here's the thing, Guy Ritchie would have done this movie better, and that's a guy that does heist movies and music videos.
Yeah, more like this on IMDb is Baby
saying?
Geniuses, Food Fight, Saving Christmas, and Super Babies Baby Geniuses 2. Explain that to me. How are those the more like this movies? Oh my gosh. IMDb is having a heyday.
Do you want to...
The poster to this
did you want to guess the budget stuff?
Right? Sorry, go ahead.
Did you want to guess budget?
Reincarnation? All right,
cats.
carry on. What were you saying?
Did you want to guess budget?
I mean, this thing had to cost a cool 75 mil.
Yeah, you wish. You wish, you dirty boy. All right, here we go. It made 75 million, cost 80 to 100 million.
Why do they think you can pour $100 million into a musical like this and that's gonna make a bunch of money?
Because it's the biggest musical ever.
It's a holiday release. They thought a bunch of people were gonna take their families to see Cats. What are they thinking?
And they probably think it would have done great if not for COVID.
Sure.
That's probably what they think in their hearts. But this movie would not have done much better without COVID, right?
Right.
Do you want to do the thing? Do you want to do the thing? You want to do it? Reddit. You were gonna see, so I can't cheat this time, which is a real bummer. Do the. Oh gosh. So. Cody. Oh, you don't have this one? Oh, okay. It is The Last Witch Hunter.
What?
Which I will say is one of the ones I was going to remove. Is it was like, okay, here's the thing. Last Witch Hunter, one of those random movies that I thought I saw the trailer for. Thought, that looks cool. When I was like a teenager.
Segment, do we need to be doing Tyler's trash? That's my question to you. You know?
Yeah, we do, though. I will say this, bro. Cody. Here, let me tell you, the secret plan that didn't happen was I was just gonna go. I have a bunch of like indie movies that I've recently been like I want to watch, and I was just gonna replace the entire list with all these indie movies, like the one where there's aliens that take over the earth and they like rub their arms to talk.
That would make me happy.
And there's another one that's like, there's another one that's like I don't know, one of them less than $5 million budget kind of indie romps from last year that I was like, I want to see this movie. Basically, Tyler, like 20 movies. I gotta
get us out of here before my bladder explodes. Is that cool? Whatever you do, don't watch this movie. Watch the 1998 stage musical, or don't, because it's not that good. But if you're the kind of person that would like it, then do watch it. But you probably aren't. I'll just tell you that. Listen to the soundtrack, maybe. I don't know. Just those 4 songs I said. And hey, thanks for listening. You know, we're the Opinion Havers. We're at Opinion Havers. And you can yell at us. If you look, I know some of you heard some of this and we're like, why don't they do these movies I want them to do? You can just tweet at us at Opinion Havers and we'll do them. You know, we'll do other movies. You just got to ask. And until next time, watch movies.
And have opinions.
Oh my gosh.
What would you have given the movie if it had buttholes?
D+. So, I mean, what if we redid this, but as a horror movie? A McCavity-driven horror film.
I was thinking the same thing.
Right?
If they had done it, that would be really funny. It'd be good. It'd be like the Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Well, in like 65 years, this is coming in the public domain, so I'll see you then.
We'll do it, yeah.